Good morning, Rise and Shine. Welcome to Uncle Sam's Kaleidoscope, Battle Media's premier morning podcast. The show to kick off your morning right and help you get through a busy work day, or in this point, your morning commute. I'm your host, Sam the SLB. Guys, before we begin, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Find us and everything. A couple things going on. We have AEW Revolution happening this coming weekend. My wrestling podcast Above the Ring will be covering that show this weekend. We will have a go home show. I believe it should drop by Friday, if not Saturday. So keep an eye out for that. We'll also have a post show at some point, probably on Monday, the following week from today. So end of February already. End of February. I will be in Cincinnati for a couple days this week. I will have a pre-recorded episode that you will hear from me on. Should have some. I don't know. I haven't really decided what that's going to be about. Regardless, I want to talk about today. I've been listening to a lot of older stuff I haven't listened to in a long time. I forgot how this came about. I was listening to some of my older metal. So as I've talked prior episodes, big Dream Theater fan, big Dream, and I've seen them like 10 times, and I can talk about Dream Theater all over the sun. But recently, I've gotten into the old hole. The old hole's not the word I'm looking for, but the old rotation of things, if you will. Every so often, I'll throw something on I haven't heard in a while. Typo Negative comes to mind. Listen to them a little bit, and then they'll kind of like in and out. Other things will come off of that. Like Lamb of God. Lamb of God been kind of going back and forth, especially with their new their tour coming up with Mastodon. They're going to be doing Ashes of the Wake, and Mastodon's going to be playing Leviathan, both albums in their entirety on that tour. So I'm looking forward to it. I love going back and hearing album played start to finish. Since, I mean, they don't, it's 20 years. I mean, that's clock's ticking for some of these bands. I know Mastodon, Lamb of God a lot younger than like the Stones, but it's still not a lot of time. Maybe they break up tomorrow. Lamb of God. They've gone through so many lineup changes recently. The past, 5-6 years. But regardless, what I was going to talk about here is, I started going on this loop again. At the beginning of, or sometime last year, I read Lifting Shadows, the Dream Theater biography, and it got me into this whirl of just listening to their discography, start reinvigorating my love for progressive metal, especially during that time where progressive metal then was a lot different than what it is today. Metal, 20 years ago, it was Dream Theater. It was bands like Porcupine Tree. It was Symphony X was another one. Those are the three that I was, Queensryche. Sorry, I have my cats running around. I had a cable issue last time, so I'm just making sure they don't come and knock it as I'm talking. Queensryche, Fates Warning, Opeth, a lot of those bands. There wasn't as much. The scene was a lot different. And yes, you could, make the argument, Dillinger was around at that point, or Between the Buried and Me was around. There's some other acts. I'm just covered in fur now. There was just a bunch of, other acts that were, I wouldn't consider them progressive at that point, or maybe they were, but they weren't in like the limelight. Like I knew of Dillinger bands like those artists, Between the Buried and Me. And I would say again, Dream Theater was the one I would argue. I would make the argument that they were the ones that kept prog metal alive. They kept prog metal alive until 2007, because prior to that, it was like from, I don't know, mid 80s, maybe before that, till like about 2007, where progressive indie music wasn't cool. Even the mainstream, the regular progressive rock, you only had like the Mars Volta. Muse, you could probably argue. Some people would be like, oh, that's just art rock, or that's just experimental. I would say they were borderline progressive in the way they were writing songs. And not just from the main mainstream, but from that point as well, that point in time. Now, post BT Bam, post Between the Buried and Me, um, you had the gent scene, the metal, everything became very heavy. Tech death became very popular. But recently, I was going through obviously the Dream Theater stuff, and then Porcupine Tree came back on. Across, I don't know if it was Steven Wilson's new solo album, might have been that, because I've always liked his solo album. He's a great songwriter. If you haven't listened to anything of his, like The Raven That Refused to Sing, that's an awesome, awesome listen. And I would say for that, it's just, I can imagine. It almost looks like The Dead. But anyways, I started going through Porcupine Tree again. Aside from that, we also had, I came up, what song did I put on? I keep going to grab my Spotify so we can kind of talk about what I was going through and where we are now. There's a playlist on Spotify that I'll throw on from time to time that I like. And I saw Carnival. Carnival has been around for a long time, but they separate music for a bit. I put on their last single, All That It Takes, from 2021. I don't know if they've put out a song since then. I'm gonna look at this as we talk. No, they haven't. I really like that. So when you do stuff like that, you hit the play button, and then all of a sudden you're listening to things over and over and kind of just takes you through the playlist. I have like so if I hit this now, Good Tiger was another one. And at this point, I'm just suggesting music. If you like this kind of stuff, progressive music, if you like, heavier stuff, this is the stuff for you. Good Tiger, Textures come up, Mastodon. And there's some others like Vulcan I've never heard of. Mestis, totally messed that up. That's not how you pronounce that. Porcupine Tree, King Crow is one. Tesseract, Sky Harbor, Leprous. Leprous are really good. If you like something where it's more, I don't even know how to explain it. They are like I don't even know if they'd be considered folk. I'm literally looking at this up right now while we're talking. Norwegian progressive metal band. And originally they started more death metal-y. Avant-garde comes up. The lead singer's incredible. He just has a voice like no other, a little on the higher end of the tone. But I remember my buddy Ken, and Ken, shout out to you here, because you and I, we throw music back all the time. Ever throw stuff back at each other that does not have a purpose. Let me clarify. That does not have a purpose, or does not that we know we're gonna like, that we both just connect on. There's definitely stuff he listens to that maybe I'm not too fond of, and vice versa. But when we find something like Haking, when their album, I think it was Affinity came out, I liked it because I had like I was getting really into synthwave at that point, and he really, he liked it. And then he liked the other couple, as time went on and they put out stuff, we really got into them. We really got into Haken. Haken, I think, is a great example of a band that has that traditional progressive rock sound, but they've brought it into the 21st century. But yeah, Leprous sounds incredible. The album that I was introduced to by Ken, that he came across, I got the itchiest nose right now, guys. Sorry if you see me just have a problem or anything. Just it's itchy. Pitfalls. It's has a little bit of pop involved. Like it says art rock, prog rock. This album, start to finish, the song that really stuck with me that Ken had shown me was "The Sky Is Red." which is, I don't know, very ambient sounding. It works with just listen to this album, Pitfalls. The album not as heavy as some of the other stuff, more like mellow, more atmospheric, more I don't want to use the word ambient, but with his voice, songs like, At the Bottom, The Sky is Red, and then on the next album, I'm gonna hack this up. Aphelion. The first song that came off of that was Castaway Angels. Beautiful. I think that's a great example of this guy's voice. Incredible. You can go further on other stuff, but Leprous is one you guys need to check out. It's not too mellow. It might be just up your alley, especially if you like, kind of spooky stuff or horror. Not that they are, but I showed it another my friend S music. She absolutely loved it. She's like, this fits my aesthetic. This is me. So definitely worth listening to. But I was kind of going through things. I'm going back through Mastodon. Mastodon, their early songwriting is incredible. Not that their newest stuff isn't. I love the Motherlode. Single word, it's a single all day long, but it's such a great song. Great song. The other thing that kind of got me back into things is Periphery. I'm a big diehard Periphery fan. I just got tickets. I'll be at the St. Pete show in May. Periphery has always been incredible to me. The last album wasn't bad. There were some bangers on there. There's others. It's just like, all right. P4, Hail Stan. To me, I think that's like one of the best albums, if not the best albums of the 2010s. Like top to bottom, every song on there hits. It flows perfectly. Opens up with a 17-minute banger. What the hell is it called? I'm like so out of it right now. What is that song? It was one of my favorite songs, if not my favorite song of the last decade. Because and again, you got to remember, when you deal with prog music, you deal with songs that are as long as this podcast, 17, 20 minutes long sometimes. And this was one of those songs. It was Reptile. I had Lizard in my head, but yeah, close. I don't know. I had Lizard in my head. So listen to that. I also went back today. It's funny. I was driving through, going to get some shirts, and lo and behold, I came across Volition by Protest the Hero, who I ate that album up. It's a really solid prog album. Metalcore, I think, at times, punky at times. But I believe the reason why that one stuck out to me was Chris Adler of Lamb of God was drumming on that album. He was a guest drummer. And that album, and not that anything before or after that was bad, but that album is just start to finish. It just is incredible. It was one of those albums. I'm an album kind of guy, so when I find the albums to just throw on and play, I'm going to do it. And this is one of those albums. Same thing with Periphery 4, and then the Juggernaut, Alpha and Omega albums. Most of the Between the Buried and Me stuff, which I'm hoping we get some more of soon. So Texas was one of them. There was like one other. Error came up because I used to be a big Error fan. And from time to time I'll throw in other stuff like The Ocean's one. I love The Ocean out of Germany. Yeah, so I'm really, really. Yeah, I guess the point here is I'm revisiting stuff I listened to in high school and college, and I'm really getting back into like my roots with my music, like what I love about what I listen to. And maybe it's an age thing. Old, don't like what the kids like, which is, you don't think it's like that, but then you realize you listen to what everyone else is listening to. It's you don't like it. Metal, I think, is a little different. Progressive rock's a little different, where it transcends generations. Where I can listen to bands coming out right now, first album, first EP today, and I'll enjoy it with the kids who are experiencing metal for the first time. Listen to that album, as well as enjoying it with people who've been listening to metal longer than I've been alive. And I plan on doing that. I plan on going back, and I'm listening to a lot of different podcasts right now, getting ready for, wrestling stuff, WrestleMania, paying attention to the election, doing a lot of, political listening right now. But going back to my roots, going back to what I loved, the music I loved growing up makes me excited. I enjoy it. I love it. I'll continue to do it. And as I get suggestions, as I send you suggestions, definitely check them out. And if you have any metal suggestions, any prog rock suggestions, please send them down. Send them to me. I want to check them out. I need more music. I want new music. I want to listen to new stuff. I'm always looking for something else. I'll never knock. Oh, it's not like the old stuff. It's not like the old stuff. It's not like the old stuff. Just give it to me. I want to take a listen to it. Maybe I'll absolutely love it. Or maybe, I don't know. Maybe I'll be like, not for me. But I'm glad you have enjoyment there. Guys, thank you so much for listening. As I said, leave me music suggestions down below. If you don't already do so, please on X, Twitter, Facebook at Bedlam Media. You can find myself as the SOB Official on X. Also, YouTube. Make sure you like, share, subscribe, leave a comment, leave a review. Tell people why Above the Ring. Yeah, we'll call Above the Ring because guess what? We're coming back. We have Revolution this weekend. Definitely keep in tune there. Bedlam Media is the podcast of your choosing and why they should listen to us as well. Thank you so much for listening, guys. And as always, do not forget to join